Good evening, Niner fans. It's been a busy Monday. How are we feeling? Earlier this evening, the 49ers signed free agent defensive end Yetur Gross-Matos to a 2-year deal worth $18 million. As we know, we discussed this earlier today, but they did sign him. 2 years, $18 million deal. They're adding depth to the line. He's a guy that's been in the league for a couple of years, former Penn State edge rusher, and then he got signed to the Panthers. He played there for a couple of years. You know, he's not like this massive signing, but he's a good depth piece. He reminds me of like a Samson Ebukam type guy. And they're going to add him to the rotation with Leonard Floyd, who they added earlier today. Leonard Floyd, solid guy, hasn't missed a game in 108 straight games, including the playoffs. Guys had 10.5 sacks, 9 sacks, 10.5 sacks, and 9 sacks. Like, he's put together some really solid years over the last couple of years. He's consistent and he's durable. So that's the two guys they signed, YGM and Leonard Floyd. I think those are two solid moves. But the big news of the day yesterday was Arik Armstead is not going to be back. You know, he asked for his release because they couldn't figure out a cheaper contract middle ground. Niners wanted him to take a substantial pay cut, and Arik Armstead didn't like that. He wanted to take his, time and go and see if there's another team that can pay him the money that he wants. Maybe there's going to be less taxes wherever else he goes. So that happened. And then tonight, big breaking news, Javon Kinlaw, 49ers defensive tackle, who they grabbed a couple years back in the draft after they traded away, DeForest Buckner. He, boom, is now going to the New York Jets to play with Robert Saleh, his former defensive coordinator, the guy that brought him into the league with the Niners, and gets the chance to play over there for a year. So this is crazy. Like, if you really think about it, the 49ers don't have Buckner, they don't have Armstead, and they don't have Kinlaw now. It's wild. Like, all these years later, they went and traded away Buckner, and I know a lot of people have been harping about that lately. It always comes up. They traded away Buck. They kept Armstead. They kept Jimmy Ward. Jimmy Ward's not on the team. Armstead's not on the team anymore. And Javon Kinlaw, the guy they got to replace Defoe, is not on the team anymore. So wild thoughts going through our minds, right? It's just been a crazy day. 49ers did add some depth, but they still need defensive tackles. You lost Armstead and Kinlaw. You need those guys. So, I don't know. Wild day. I like the Leonard Floyd signing. I think he's a very consistent player. I like the Gross-Matos signing. I think it was a pretty good move for a guy that's a solid veteran that can, flourish under Chris Kasurek. I like Chris Kasurek, and I think he's going to do good things with a guy like YGM. In the 49ers, they do it every year. They get Arden Key, Kerry Hyder. They've gotten Clelin Ferrell. They've had numerous players, Samson Ebukam, Charles Omenihu, and they mold them into really solid defensive linemen, and then they go get paid somewhere else. So I feel like that's what's going to happen with this guy. We'll see. That's what I hope, at least. The Niners definitely need depth in defensive line, and he's a guy that the Niners went and thought could, do that for them. So I don't know, but we're still here thinking about the 49ers roster in 2024. Still a lot of work to be done, right? Offensive line and everything else that we've talked about over the last couple of weeks. But defensive line has some questions. They still have questions. What's going to happen with defensive tackles? So I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting. My man Ignis is Gross-Matos can play defensive tackle. He can kind of play them both, right? He could kind of be like that Charles Omenihu slash Clelin Ferrell, where they could kind of play inside, outside, and I think they could both kind of set the edge a little bit. So I think you're right on that. I think the Gross-Matos type signing, he can play inside, outside a little bit. He's going to be a versatile type guy. So let's see. The throwbacks is the 49ers are going to draft a defensive tackle. Absolutely. I think they'll use a defensive tackle pick early in the draft, maybe the first 2 rounds. I don't know about the first pick, but I think they're going to go best player available. I said this many times. I feel like the 49ers are going to go best player available at that 31st pick, right? That's where I think they're going to go. They don't want to force themselves to pick a tackle if they don't absolutely have to take a tackle. I know everybody wants them to get a tackle, but I think that they're just going to go best player available. We'll see how that goes. Still a long week. It's only Monday. I think a lot of people are hitting the panic button. It's Monday. Free agency just started. Actually, free agency starts Wednesday. Today's the legal tampering period. Great one says Tyrod Taylor to back up Aaron Rodgers. I saw the update. Breaking news, Tyrod Taylor just signed to the Jets per Tom Pelissero. So Oh, I saw that news. The great Jam says they're probably going to draft a defensive tackle round one. They might. They just might. We'll see. How are we feeling though, chat? I hopped in. I started talking, yapping my brains away. How are we feeling tonight? What are we doing? What are we feeling? What do we think about these moves today? Are you happy? Are you happy about losing players? Are you happy about losing the players that would like Arg Armstead? Are you happy about Javon Kinlaw? A lot of people never liked Javon Kinlaw, so I think a lot of fans are happy that they don't have Kinlaw. So we'll see. We need depth, but hopefully we can upgrade in that spot. They better not draft defensive tackle with the first pick. Travis says, if you draft for position, you ask for trouble. BPA all day. That's my take on the draft. I don't want to force. If I'm drafting, I don't want to force myself to pick a position because we need it. I'm taking the best player available because if you pass on a stud, you're gonna sit there and look back and be like, oh my god, we passed on a stud, man. I agree with you, Travis. You take the best player available in the draft because it's a crapshoot. The draft is a crapshoot. You don't know if these guys are going to pan out. Free agency, you know these guys are good. Will they stay healthy and fit your system? That's another topic. Debtopia says day one C plus. I agree. I think we had about a C. C plus is being nice. I say a C. I still think there's a lot of work to be done, but it's the first day. I'm not too worried about it. The 49ers added a very solid edge rusher, pass rusher in Leonard Floyd. He is a little on the older side, but I think he's very good. He's coming off a career year. He has a high motor. He's got some speed to him. And I like the Gross Motto signing. I think he's a solid addition that, again, Chris Kasurk is going to really kind of get the most out of. Kasurk gets the most out of these guys. So I think it was a C. There still could have been more. Terrence says everyone can say they're happy about Kinlaw leaving, but he sure as hell stepped up this past season. He really did. That's a great point. Javon Kinlaw, to everybody's, you know, opinion, whatever you want to think about him, I know he was injury prone. I know he missed a lot of games. He didn't get to develop, but this last year, he put it together. He was healthy. He made big plays when they needed it. I feel like Javon Kinlaw finally put things together, and he showcased, that he could be a very solid player in this league. And I'm happy for the guy to get a year. People are going to be laughing at him and talk about all the stuff that he didn't get to do, but this last year, he really came of age, and I'm happy for Kinlaw. I DM'd him actually before I came live, and I told him like, "Yo, man, congrats on the contract. Best of luck. It's dope that you got to run it back. That you get a chance to run it back with Salah." I told him, make the haters pay. That's what I told him. I literally DM'd him and said, "Hey, make the haters eat their words and make them pay." So, I wish nothing but the best for Kinlaw. I know people ripped him apart. I got respect for the guy. He was a cool dude to me. So, who's taking 99 now? That's a good question. We got 99 open. We got number 91 open. We got number 99 open. It's gonna be interesting. Cosmo says Kinlaw needed a fresh start somewhere else. Salah will be good for him. I agree. I think Kinlaw needed an absolute fresh start. He needed that. I think he did. I think he did. Kinlaw did better without the knee issues. I agree. We need a right tackle and a D tackle. I agree. Great one says, should we go over Calais Campbell? He's not a bad vet at this point. How old is Calais Campbell? He is a little bit up there in age. He's closer to my age, and that's never a good sign. How old is Calais? Let's see. Let's see how Calais. I don't think he's bad though. I like Calais Campbell. How old is he really? He's 37. I told you he's closer. I was not even expecting it to be that old. I'm not saying that's old, but in NFL terms, that's like 57. Bro's close to my age. I don't know about after seeing that. That's a no for me, dog. That's a no for me. That's absolutely a no for me. Thaddeus Lomberg says DJ Jones coming back to the Bay. Hopefully, that's who I want the Niners to go and get. I know the Broncos could probably cut him to save some money. If I'm the 49ers and the Broncos cut DJ Jones, bring him back to me. Go run him back to the Bay. Give me DJ Jones. I'm all for it. I love it. I need it. I want it to happen. You could have DJ Jones and Javon Hargrave. That would be a beautiful duo in the Bay. So I love it. DJ Reader is available. Yeah, I like it. There's still a lot of good talent available, guys. There's still plenty of talent. We'll see. We'll see. Again, this is only Monday. Patrick Queen, He's available, although I don't think the Niners are going to get a guy like that. His value is a little bit higher than I think they want to spend at linebacker. I think they'd want to go for a guy that's maybe in the 5 to 7 million range. Today, Azeez Al-Shahir signed with the Texans, 3 years, 34 million. That's definitely out of the range the 49ers want to spend because they do have Dre Greenlaw, who will be back, but you need to insulate it, get a veteran out there. So I think at the end of the day, the 49ers are going to get a linebacker, but it's not going to be a guy that's going to cost you over $10 million. I don't think so. So Great JM says the 49ers have problems stuffing the run. DJ Jones would be great. Absolutely. And that's what they need to do. And as much as we want to talk about Armstead being a great run stuffer and all that stuff, he was getting older. He missed a lot of games. And I can understand, and I said this earlier, I can understand why the 49ers asked him to take a pay cut coming off of meniscus surgery, coming off of 2 years with plantar fasciitis. I understand all that. The 49ers had every right. And Armstead had every right to say, no, I've been a veteran. I've been helping you guys. I'm solid in the playoffs. This is a contract, and he doesn't want to take less money. So I think there's two sides to it. It is what it is. But the Niners definitely need to figure it out and add somebody on that defensive line because they don't really have defensive tackles right now. They lost two big ones. I think Kinlaw and Armstead were two big losses, but I think they'll be able to insulate themselves and sign someone. But I'll figure it out because if they don't, they're going to be drafting a defensive tackle, and y'all are going to be upset. Ignis says Armstead is not worth 28 million. He's not worth 17 mil that he was due because of the injuries. I think he's a very, very good player, and when he plays, he earns his money. Playoffs, he's a monster. He was crazy in the playoffs. He was great in the Super Bowl, but you have to get to the playoffs. And if he's not going to be able to produce for you in the regular season and miss games because of the plantar fasciitis, and then all the money you're paying him is for nothing. It's not you're stealing money. So I can understand why the Niners did what they had to do. So Great Jam says he will be missed. Yeah, absolutely. Great player in the locker room, a leader, a captain. Love the guy. He's a great dude. I've talked to him off the in messages and stuff, and he's a super nice guy. I've never met him, but I've talked to him on social media. Very nice guy. The people audit says we have Drake Jackson. Why not give Drake an opportunity? They did. He got hurt. That's unfortunate. So they gave him the opportunities, but he's still trying to figure it out in the league. I think Drake Jackson. It's been unfortunate. His 2 seasons, he just really hasn't been able to put it together yet. But he is a second-round pick, and he does have the talent. Hopefully, this is the year. 30 years of charm. If he doesn't pan out this year, then you can call him a bust. Say what you want. Let's see. Clowney would be extra help for cheap. Signed him for $2.5 million last year. Yeah, he actually had a really nice rebound season. I wouldn't mind it. That would be nice. Travis says, is Chase Young definitely gone? I don't know if you're going to guarantee it that he's gone, but signing 2 defensive linemen today kind of tells me they're probably not going to bring back Chase Young because they got a guy for 20 mil and then a guy for basically, 10 mil, maybe 9 mil really. And so I don't know if they're going to spend another couple 10 million, 12 million on another edge rusher like Chase Young. I would love him back, but I think with the 49ers adding 2, edge rushers, basically, it's telling you they're probably not going to bring back Chase Young. So I wouldn't say he's guaranteed to be not back, but I put a small percentage of Chase Young coming back. So, yeah, and Young probably wants a little bit more than we can handle to give him. So I do think they should bring back Clelin Ferrell, says the great JM. I do too. I love Clelin. I think he was a very good player, actually. I think he was a very solid player for the 49ers. I know he wasn't like a big sack, production guy, but he was very good at run stuff and set the edge. I think he played really good under the 49ers system. I liked him. It was unfortunate when he got injured because I think he would have been a big part of that playoff run. I think the Niners really missed his presence in the middle for run stuffing. So I do hope they can bring back Clelin, but just not for a lot of money because he is coming off a major injury. Although he had never really had like massive injuries through his career. But I do like Clelin Ferrell, and I hope he could come back. So, yeah, Ferrell is solid. Did the Ravens get Henry? I think they're looking to get him. They're the top contender. I don't think it's officially official, but I know the rumors are the 49ers are trying to get King Henry there. So Julius says, do you think Hargrave would willing to restructure his contract? I think he would. He got paid a lot of money last year. That was a massive signing. And I think it's an interesting name to bring up. Hargrave was a guy that everybody was so hyped on last year. We took him from the enemy, the Eagles. he played solid to start. He got a little hurt. He didn't play up to what we all wanted him to towards the end of the season. He got paid a lot of money. And I think that's a guy that maybe the 49ers could restructure a little bit. Absolutely. I thought he was good, but you got to remember he didn't really play with Armstead a lot. He didn't really play with this, that deadly duo that we all thought they were going to have, because Armstead got hurt throughout the season. And he just didn't have those two doing what we all thought they were going to do, right? And then not only that, he got his hamstring injury too. So like Hargrave kind of took a little step back through the season at the end. And then run defense just wasn't good. But yeah, I think Hargrave would be a guy that 49ers would ask to take a pay cut. Hey, look, 49ers are asking everybody that's a veteran, it sounds like, to take pay cut. Fred Warner, Kyle Juszczyk, Arg Armstead. If you ain't down about taking a pay cut, Niners, we'll get you out of the team. So it sounds like. So we'll see. The Great Jam says 49ers, I wouldn't surprise me if they draft the linebacker and a nickel. I think they'll definitely draft some corners. Even if they get a nickel in free agency, you can never have enough corners, and I think the Niners will draft at least 2 cornerbacks. They definitely need to get younger. I agree with that, and I definitely think that they'll take some cornerback depth. You got to have depth. Ambry Thomas, this might be his last year. Womack, the writing's on the wall on him, so we just don't know yet. He's had injuries. He just hasn't had a lot of opportunities. Darrell Luter, he looks like he's a promising player. But other than that, you got Lenore and Mooney, who are great. They need some more help out. They need depth. Cornerback's a tough position. You need depth. So, yeah, I think they'll draft some corners. I think they still might go after one this week. So, my man, 49ers throwback. Hargrave is our new Buckner. The 49ers are going to bring back Feliciano, or are they going to bring him back, says 49ers throwback? I think they are. They said they wanted to. I feel like they have a plan in place to bring him back. I think he wants to come back, see what the market's like for these guards. These offensive linemen are getting paid. They're getting paid a lot. So I think the 49ers are trying to make it financially, affordable for them. I think the 49ers are trying to make sure everything's affordable for them. And watch those. If you go on Twitter and you look at all the offensive linemen got signed, paid a lot of money. I paid a lot of money. So I think the 49ers want to bring back Feliciano, but I think it's just going to be a 1-year deal. But they need depth on the offensive line. That's it. They do. Blood Moons. J.C. Horn. Trade for J.C. Horn. Maybe they can get him for nothing. He hasn't lived up to the draft stock yet because of the injuries. I will go get J.C. Horn. That's my guy. I like you, Blood Moon. That's smart. Woo! The Sentinel Football says no Kinlaw. Yeah, no Kinlaw. He gone. 49ers throwback does not trust Spencer Burford. He's sorry. Don't tell me sorry. Go tell Spencer Burford that you don't trust him. He had a really solid rookie season, and last year he kind of fell apart a little bit. And that Super Bowl was not a good look for him. But he's young. He's still talented. We'll see. But the 49ers offensive line definitely could be a better position, and they definitely need to upgrade there. So we'll see. Whew. Matos Gross, competing for a starting job. I don't know if he'll be a starter. I think he's just a rotational guy. You got to think about it as like a Samson Ebicam, Charles Omenihu. Those guys were really solid rotational players. And that's what the Niners have been missing. Jordan, you got to remember, and I said this last year, and I'm still sitting here telling you, last year they lost Charles Omenihu, they lost Samson Ebicam, and Jordan Willis. They never really replaced those guys. Drake Jackson didn't really have the endurance to replace the snaps. Farrell was good. He got hurt. And then Austin Bryant, he was chump, man. He was a chump. He got hurt, and he was mid. Those guys could not replace what they lost from those, Willis and Omenihu and Ebicam. And not only that, they drafted a good youngster from Georgia, Robert Beal. I like the guy, but he had the injuries. He's still young. He's still developing. I think that's a guy that could come up and step up this year. So I'm not going to forget about him. Alex Barrett, he's okay. But they need guys that can come in and give them snaps. And that's why Leonard Floyd, very durable player, Gatos, he's a guy that's played a lot in the league. So I feel like the 49ers have brought in 2 guys that are going to give them snaps. That's what they need. Because you got to remember, over 350 snaps from Willis, Omenihu, and Ebicam they had lost. They still didn't replace those guys. I no matter what you say, you can't tell me they were able to replace those guys last year. That's why they brought in Randy Gregory. That's why they brought in Chase Young midseason. They were struggling to replace those snaps. and they needed some help. So the 49ers are always looking for edge help. Last year was no difference. So, yeah, and Hyder and everybody, all that stuff. I agree. Khalil Mack, yeah, it'd be nice. Devin White would be epic. Yeah, I like some of those names. Do I think Drake Jackson can play defensive tackle? I don't know. I was talking about this earlier actually with someone. I feel like he's kind of a tweener. Like he's just his size is just weird. He's a weird build. I just don't think he has enough strength to play inside on the defensive line, and then sometimes he just maybe not quick enough because of his size on the edge. He's just it's a weird size. I think he has the talent to be a solid pass rusher if he can add some more strength, but I just don't think he has enough to play defensive tackle, in my opinion. So Blood Moon says Patrick Queen or Khalil Mack. I would love Khalil Mack, but I don't think they're going to go after another edge rusher. But again, who knows at this point? We can't predict these guys. I know a lot of people want a Brian Burns today. That guy got a $150 million contract, something like that. That's crazy. Could have gotten Garbage Minshew. I've never heard anybody call him Garbage Minshew. That's funny. Garbage Minshew. I like Gardner Minshew. Oh man. We got Siri. We got Alexa talking. Oh my god. I don't know how we triggered her. Oh man. Oh man. My man Thaddeus Lumber says, get me up to 100 likes on the live. Let's go, baby. We got 95 people in here. Make sure you hit that like button. Oh man, Daniel Hunter to the Niners? No, I don't think it's gonna happen. That guy is probably gonna be way out of their price range after today. I don't think so. Travis says, who backs up Brock Purdy? Right now, it looks like Brandon Allen. They signed him back today. I think that he's their backup, and they'll draft a quarterback to be a third string. I don't hate it. At the end of the day, we don't have any drama. Brock's the guy. Brandon Allen could be your QB2. He was the QB2 for Joe Burrow a couple years ago. I think he could do it. And this is the thing, and I say this all the time because everybody's wondering who's the backup, because we were so used to having the backup quarterback having to come to play. We don't need the backup quarterback to play. That's the last thing. You don't want the backup to play. If you have the backup playing, that's an issue. That's the problem. You want to make sure your team doesn't have your backup play. That's what the last thing you want is your backup playing. If the backup's playing, you just blew out the other team. That's it. Bottom line. That's what you want. So I'm so happy that the 49ers don't have any quarterback drama. This is the first year. So honestly, Brandon Allen, I'm okay with it. Go draft a quarterback. I don't think the Niners need to worry about quarterback. You got Brock Purdy. It's so refreshing not having quarterback drama. So it is hard to find a good backup quarterback. I think Brandon Allen's a solid backup quarterback. I really do. Again, we don't need to use him. So. Joey Bosa. I see a lot of Joey Bosa comments. I know a lot of people don't want him. Cheryl Bosa, his mother, and Nick Bosa's mother. They have the same mom, by the way. They're brothers. They're the Bosa's mothers. The Bosa's mom, Cheryl Bosa, has been posting on her Instagram like a lot, trying to manifest it. I know it'd be cool for the culture. It would be a cool story, but if we're gonna be honest, Joey Bosa is very injury prone, and he's missed a lot of games, and he's gonna want a lot of money. I would love the story. It would be so cool. The Bosa brothers on the Niners, da 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 da. But he has been injured, and I don't want to get another player that's injured on this team and go through it. It's why they got rid of Armstead. One of the reasons they did. He didn't want to take the pay cut, and he's had a lot of injuries. So why bring in a guy that has had injuries, right? So if push came to shove, I wouldn't do it. So Jorge Lopez says, what about Randy Gregory? I mean, he was okay. I wouldn't say he was horrible. I liked his contributions to the team, but I think they can get a younger defensive lineman, a younger edge rusher. Like I like the guy. Again, he came in, him and Chase Young, they needed some talent, some depth. They had nothing on the edge. Again, because the Ebicam, like we just talked about a minute, who they needed some snaps. They needed somebody. And Gregory was a shot in the arm because they were kind of flailing a little bit at 3-game slide. The Niners needed a shot in the arm, and they did it, and they got it. And I think he was okay, but I think they can do better. I like the Randy, but I don't think he's a long-term solution. If they get desperate and they need a guy for a 1-year deal, bring him in. But I think they could do better. So he was okay. He was good for being a rotational guy, but they could do better. So let's recap today, shall we? Since we have 100 people in here, let's recap the day. The 49ers, they signed Brandon Allen, QB2. The 49ers, they signed Leonard Floyd. That was their splash move of the day. 2-year deal, 24 mil. The 49ers, they signed, I can't even pronounce his name. What is his name? Gross Matos. Let's pull him up. What's his name? I honestly, YGM. That's what I'm going to refer to him as. They signed Yatur Gross Matos to a 2-year deal worth $18 million. Okay. Those are their signings. What else happened today? The 49ers tendered restricted free agent Javon Jennings to a second round level tender, which means they pay him $4.84 million. If someone tries to come over the top and sign him and they want him over what the Niners are going to pay them, Niners get a second round pick in return. So that's great. Jawan Jennings basically coming back to the Niners. What else happened today for the 49ers? Charlie Warner signed with the Atlanta Falcons on a 3-year deal worth $12 million. Good for Charlie. A blocking tight end getting $12 million. I love that for him. And Sam Darnold has been rumored to go to the Vikings because they lost Kirk Cousins. Please sign him right now. Sign him right now. Vikings, sign Sam Darnold right now. Please. Please do it. And Fred Warner restructured his contract. And Fred Warner officially this weekend became a father. That's what happened today. Monday was a wild day. That's what happened today. Ignis, Sam Darnold definitely gone. And I'm not losing sleep about it. I'm so happy. I mean, I don't hate Sammy D. If he's our backup, I'm cool with it. He's not a bad backup. But if you're gonna take him, take him. I don't care. I'm not losing sleep over losing Sam Darnold. We do need a third quarterback, though. Yeah, Fred Warner is now a daddy. You gotta love it, man. I love Fred Warner. Like, he's so cool. He's so good. Like, the fact that he took that pay cut, like, that was my favorite news of the day. The restructured deal. Gotta love him, man. He's a good dude. The 49ers did miss out on Christian Wilkins. He signed a massive contract with the Raiders. He was rumored to have some interest on the 49ers. They were interested in trying to get him, but I don't think they were going to pay him anywhere near what the Raiders paid him. So that didn't hold up. Oh, one more move that the 49ers potentially could do this week. They are hosting safety Rayshon Jenkins. He's scheduled to visit the 49ers this week. He did meet with the Seahawks today, and then the 49ers get to meet with him this week. That could be a guy they sign. They might sign Rayshon Jenkins, safety from the Jaguars. They need safety depth. You know, Hufunga's coming off of an ACL tear. Gibson might retire. Who knows? George Odom, he's going to be on the team, but he's a special teamer. And then you got Jair Brown, who's a rookie last year, entering his second year. You need some depth there. So that's your safety department, and this guy could come in and be a good veteran. So, any case, yeah, let's see what happens. I hope there's no more news because I do need to get some rest tonight. But if there is news tonight, we coming live. This is the secret, and I told you earlier. I said if I tell you that I'm going to go take a nap, the Niners instantly post news. I told someone earlier. I was on the phone, and I told her. I said, "Listen, I'm going to say that I'm going to take a nap." Literally within 5 minutes, Javon Kinlaw news broke out. I swear to God, that's what happened tonight. It was crazy. I said I'm going to go take a nap. Javon Kinlaw news. I'm telling you, if I say I'm going to take a nap or if I'm going to bed, the Niners are dropping news on us. That's how it's crazy. They want me to miss. They want me to miss all the news. That's what they want. They want me to miss the news. It's crazy. That's how it works. But anyways, you guys have a good rest of your day. My man Throwback says, "What happened with you and Larry?" Yeah, I go on his channel. We went live last week. We still do a weekly show. I'm a busy guy. He's a busy guy, but we've been doing our weekly shows pretty consistently. I'd probably be on Larry's show this week. We did a show last Tuesday, I believe. So I've been doing a Monday show with Ted. That's been going pretty good. And then the rest of the week, I've just been so busy with work. But I do try to still go live for you guys as much as I can. Today was crazy. I was live almost every hour. But yeah, I got my show with Larry, and my Monday show is still a thing. So appreciate you guys. We hit 24K out here today. I love you guys, and y'all have a good one. Oh, last comment. Last comment. My man Blood Moon said, hilarious. He says, if Sammy D goes to the Vikes and Trey Lance goes there too. Can you imagine a 249er backup quarterback going to the Vikings to compete for their starting job? That's funny. Yo, that actually is hilarious, dude. It's like, so glad. It's so good not to have quarterback drama, man. Anyways, Julia says, I'll see you in an hour when the news breaks. Yeah, I'll see you guys in an hour when the news breaks. Y'all have a good night. Appreciate you. Love you. Make sure you hit that like button. And you know what? If you got anybody going through problems, give them a call. They might like that. You know what? I've had some personal family members. There's some stuff going on, and I call them, and it's always good to connect with your family members. So just drop that little bit at the end. You know, it's sometimes I got a big following. I like to tell you guys to go do some positive things in your life. Go tell your friends and families you love them. So y'all have a good night. Bang bang, 9 again.